multi-platform broadcast. This is Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say. This is a multi-platform broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in by any means possible, because you might be experiencing us on social media in some way, shape, or form. You might be watching this live. You might be watching this in a history class. You might be listening to this on 90.1 FM KPFT, your community station where this all began, or perhaps you're watching this on fox26houston.com. Either way, welcome to the Latino Artistic Renaissance. I am your host, Tony Diaz, El Libro Traficante, and I'm really thrilled to join you tonight because we are celebrating SUR FEST. Our friends at SUR FEST not only have survived the epidemic, have been performing, they've got a fantastic live show coming up that we're going to tell you all about. They also have some big news about a grant that they just received, and we're happy to share that with you. So I want to say hi to Pablo. Pablo, ¿cómo estás, mano? Great to see you.
Hello, Tony. How you doing? Hello, everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, to talk about these great events. And also, you're going to be performing live in a little bit.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And also, Roxana Guzman, she is our multi-platform producer. She worked on a lot of these graphics. Roxana, thank you so much for coming through yet again. How are you? Well, I tell you what, you really help us get to this new era, and we appreciate all that you do. I do want to tell people that we're really happy to announce that the BIPOC Arts Network Fund has given a grant to Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, and we're proud to act as a fiscal sponsor to several other organizations. And one of those groups is here with us tonight. So, first of all, on behalf of Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, want to thank BIPOC Arts Network Fund, all of our partners. Want to thank Rodrigo Bravo, who's our producer on the audio side. But want to make a special announcement that SUR FEST is one of the organizations that received the grant. Pablo, congratulations on the grant. Tell folks a little bit about how much it is and what you hope to do with the funding.
Well, man, thank you so much. It's a big surprise that this happened, right? What do you want me to tell you?
So, is this the first grant that SUR FEST has ever received?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that this is happening. I mean, after the pandemic, we were hit pretty hard. The musicians, after what was the SUR FEST 8, 2 weeks after that, everything shut down, and we had to find a job and decide what we were doing. And yeah, I'm focusing something else. And everybody started working on these platforms, and I tried, but never got to do something like constant. But now that is happening, we are doing like interviews through Facebook and that. So, well, I'm very happy that this is happening, right?
That's fantastic. I do want to talk more about that in a little bit. Let's bring up the poster with the information on the next edition of SUR FEST, because you mentioned it's been a struggle. We're so happy that this funding came through right now. We'll talk more about that. And you're going to perform in a little bit. But I want to let folks know to experience SUR FEST Saturday, February 26th at the legendary Continental Club, which is, of course, 3714 Main Street here in Houston, Texas. And folks can go to the website to find out about the modest ticket prices. But there's so many different bands that you can go see live. And, tú eres Argentino, you give a lot of love to the South Americans, the Chicano. It is our job to step up with our brothers and sisters, the Argentina, de todo el sur. Why don't you mention some of the bands that will be performing live and who are part of the SUR FEST network and that people can meet on February 26th?
Okay, well, let me talk to you about the bands. We have here the Pew helping us with the programming and the show, the interviews that we're gonna do on Facebook. Okay, we have the Pew, we have Elise, we have the Glass, we have what else? I don't have it in my hands right now, but we have Alejandro Tort from Uruguay. We have Lupe Olivares, the godfather of all of us. Yeah, he's always present and helping in the festival, doing sound and whatever production we need. We have Crónica, we have Satri, Segunda Nave, we have Charlie Ciaba, Elise, y we have the band from Mexico, Surdog, the version of Fernando Mars. He was the singer, the first singer, so he's coming with his own band to perform some of his songs.
That is awesome. So we do want to talk more about SUR FEST, the historic proportions of this particular edition of it, what this grant means to your efforts, but we also want you to perform. So let me set this up. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning in to a multi-platform broadcast of Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say. You're experiencing this either through social media platforms or on 90.1 FM KPFT, your community station here in Houston, Texas, or you're watching it on Fox26Houston.com. I'm Tony Diaz, el Libro Traficante. Shout out to all the crew helping us. We want to point something out too, Pablo. You don't often perform under these circumstances. And see, some of these songs you haven't been rehearsing, but because I asked you for a favor, I'm like, come on, you got to thrill them. We're about to hear you perform some of these, but we do want to put this in context. And this is the epidemic era. So we got to go with the flow. So tell us a little about the challenges of performing like this without the perfect setup. What should we know about what we're about to hear? The conditions that you are struggling through.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be like you are listening to someone next to it, and maybe not everything is perfect. It's like hanging out in a living room and playing a song. You are not performing like you are on a stage or something like a show with the people and the lights. It's just like a couch performance that it's very relaxed. I think that's how I see it.
Well, you're talking us into it, not out of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, with an exclusive couch performance, founder of SUR FEST, El Mero Mero Pablo. Take it away, brother.
This song is called Nena. Na 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 na. 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 Dulce como un ángel, brilla como el sol. De la primavera siento su calor. No me esperes afuera, que te puedes llevar. El viento como se lleva hojas al pasar. Nena, no te vayas, sabes, te quiero abrazar y ser el que te besa más. Na 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 na. 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 Es invierno, hace frío y vos no contestás. El mensaje está visto, ¿dónde estarás? Estoy despierto hasta tarde, escucho rock and roll. Sabes dónde encontrarme, rompes mi corazón. Nena, no te vayas, sabes, te quiero abrazar y ser el que te besa más. No, ya no llores, guardo mis canciones en un agujero en el fondo del jardín y mis gritos de blues los tapo con un pañuelo, aunque sepa que ya no vas a volver. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Pablo Rivera giving us a couch performance and celebrating the next edition of SUR FEST. Pablo, tell folks when you founded SUR FEST.
SUR FEST started in 2013. I was organizing a show at the Old Mangoes. I don't know if people remembers. And we were 3 bands, and I wanted to do something that it went through the years and growing, to grow the community, to grow the people, the assistants of the shows. And that's how it started, very humble, 3 bands, like any show, but with a purpose to grow.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the struggles for folks that perform. We could call it rock en español. We could call it rock in Spanish. Tell us a little about the genre and some of the challenges to make sure that this fantastic form is spread in Houston.
Well, this community is most people of the communities, people that came from Latin America. We can say Mexico, we can say Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Cuba. I don't want to forget anybody. Brazil, and ¿qué más, Juan? Venezuela. Venezuela, no nos vamos a olvidar de Venezuela, por favor. Entonces, so everybody came with the culture of what it was MTV at the time. We are from the 90s, So we came to the US. Okay, we are musicians. We're gonna play, and I found out that we were first that I found out I met a lot of people very quick. I came to the US in 2006, and I met a lot of musicians very quick, friends that I still have. And I noticed that we were a musician, but mostly we were songwriters.
Mm.
It's not, we do our covers, we do our tributes, but we were songwriters, and we were writing our own music. So until 2013 that this started, I think we are some kind of an island of in the US, because we are doing music that if I go to Argentina, I can play there easily. I mean, or anybody can play in their own country or any country, because these bands are very good musicians. But it's like we are an island in Houston that we can find, I mean, Tejano music, which is right, but we can say Tejano music. Well, it's from Texas, or any music that is regional, and we share language and we share customs, but at some point, I think we are an island, and this island is very welcoming to people that want to listen to this music, and well, I think that's basically it.
Well, I also think what's fantastic is that you bring up a lot of the influences, but you also have a lot of your own unique styles as well. Like sometimes it sounds like hard rock, sometimes heavy metal, sounds like a ballad there. That's part of the style too, no? To mix all those different elements.
Well, each band has their own style. We can say we have like um, like a pop rock bands, we have rock and roll bands, we have singer songwriter bands, we have the pew that they play like gypsy jazz, and we have Dime que sí. I forgot of Dime que sí, of Bloody Castellanos. Dime que sí is a duet with Patti Castillo. They play like more Mexican folklore, or they play cumbias, or they play boleros. So it's a big time variety that we have going on.
That's fantastic. And for folks to know, I want to remind them that you've got a big show coming up. SUR FEST is taking place February 26th, 2022 at the Continental Club. And we're scrolling beneath the price of tickets, which is very reasonable. So support your local artist. We're going to support our local artist. Throughout the audio broadcast, we'll be playing MP3s of some of the performers. And in a little bit, Pablo will be performing another couch performance. He also has a fellow musician at the crib. and if they're up for it, they may provide a third song as well. A ver, vamos a ver. We cannot overpromise, but that would be delightful. But
It might happen. It might happen.
It might happen. That's good. That's good. We're getting a little closer. And I remind folks too, you're experiencing Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say. It's a multi-platform broadcast here on social media. You'll be catching it also on 90.1 FM KPFT Houston, Houston's community station. And also you'll be watching it on fox26.com. Of course, KPFT is a community-run station. If you can go to kpft.org, you can go to the tip jar. You can make a donation in the names of Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, or our other radio show, Latino Politics and News. I should give a shout out also to What's Your Point, the talk show on Fox 26 Houston, where I am a participant as well. But I say all that because it takes all this work to get this show together. We're like curators because we bring great music to you. I want people to appreciate, though, that SUR FEST could go away. If it's not for the blood, sweat, and tears of people like Pablo, SUR FEST does not exist or continue. And I'm really happy that the BIPOC Arts Network Fund is funding you. Nuestra Palabra is proud to be the 501c3 fiscal sponsor, but it's recognizing all your work. But I want people to know, a ver, Pablo, you pay for the sound yourself, the light yourself. The musicians donate their time, energy. Who pays for the flyers, Pablo?
Well, basically, it's a one-man operation. I have to reduce it. One-man operation with the help of friends. That's basically it. I mean, I started after Verano Fest. That was the mini SUR Fest. I started working in September, October, beginning of October, and I mean it's 15 bands. It's gonna be 13 bands. It's quite a work to do it. It takes a lot of time to organize each detail. We need sound guys in each stage. We need stage managers to keep everything as professional as we can. Uh, this band from Mexico is coming as a special guest,
Wow.
and I'm glad that they're gonna perform, because the idea is that with their more fame, we can tell them more experience that us, they can help the community to grow, and it's a big effort for them and for us to bring them, and we're trying to also do we are trying to do a small documentary to present what Surface is, so people knows more. We have an old documentary from 2000, I mean, 15 or something, but we are trying to renew it, and hopefully it goes through.
That's a lot because I think when people go, they're going to have a great time, see some fantastic talent, know more about the community, but you're building networks. You're actually also teaching different skills that people might not understand are skills, and you're giving back to the community. So that's a lot. Would you say that's the mission of SURFest also, to give back to the community?
Oh, yeah, yeah. The idea is, I mean, all this community of musicians. The goal is to people to know them, and to create and to be aware that we are living in Houston. We are doing music. Uh, we write our own music, and all of us need Surface to make noise as a community, so new people can come see the show and share the experience. We also gonna have um, uh, artisan vendors that show the art, and that adds too. We used to have Houston Film Festival. Uh, they had to switch to, well, the problems that we had, but we used to have it. Then we couldn't make it this year, but it's open. Uh, it's all good. So yeah, we're trying to give back to community. The music that we do, and and make it a bigger community. I think everybody deserves uh, more attention in the craft that they do.
That's awesome. And I know the drill. Sometimes people forget that you're not just a community organizer, you're also a musician. So you got another song for us then, right, Pablo?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you're experiencing Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say on a multi-platform broadcast as we celebrate the next edition of SURFest, February 26th in Houston, Texas at Continental Club. Go ahead and thrill them, Pablo.
Okay. This song is about my neighborhood here in Montrose. Chica veneno, te toco y me quemo. Subís a mi coche, rodamos toda la noche. Solo quieres salir, no puedes resistir. Cuando bailas el swing, solo quieres reír. En el barrio te esperan, con el humo en el sol. chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno. Chica veneno, y el anzuelo, tus labios de fuego, siento todo el infierno, solo quieres salir a bailar por ahí, a un lugar especial, y te encuentro en el bar, en el barrio te esperan, con el humo en el sol, chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno. Y en el continental tus lágrimas caen por ese loco amor que ayer dejaste, chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno, chica veneno.
All right. We are listening to a couch performance by Pablo de Vera, founder of SUR FEST, as we celebrate the next edition of SUR FEST here in Houston, Texas, Saturday, February 26th at the Continental. We want to talk a little bit more about the groups that will be there. Really proud that you've received a grant from the BIPOC Arts Network Fund. And then I think we're going to get a third song as well. Cuéntanos un poco de la letra de esa canción. ¿Quién es esta chica, mano? Danos el chisme.
Bueno, te voy a tener que decir algún secreto, pero bueno, en realidad está todo hecho, es una historia entre real y fantasiosa, ¿no? Un poco en la canción cuenta lo que es el barrio en que vivo, que es el barrio de Montrose, y bueno, y el bar que es el que solemos ir, que se llama Poison Girl. So,
muy famoso ese bar, también para los escritores.
Claro, bueno, entonces es un poquito un juego con eso, ¿no?
Too funny. ¿Y sabe Poison Girl que existe
No,
en esta canción, en esta obra?
y en español encima.
Bueno, you get some free beers after that, so hay que, hay que decirle y dejarlo saber. Pero eso es lo que me encanta, es algo especial, algo latino, but super Montrose, mano. Y Montrose es muy latino, anyway, ¿no? La gente no sabe eso, ¿no?
Claro, Montrose es todo, ¿no? Montrose es todo, es una gran mezcla de todo, con muchas comunidades. El nuevo Montrose no es el que solía ser, pero acá estamos en la resistencia.
Exactamente. A todo eso debemos de mencionarle a la gente que, claro, todavía hay diferentes lugares en Montrose que existen. Avant Garden, ¿verdad? Todavía existe. Y claro, we still have to support our musicians in different ways, shape, or forms where they can make it happen. We're happy that KPFT is still a home for local music because we're going to go out of our way to make sure that we support local talent. But I love that it's a great song, original. It's super Latino, but super Houston, Texas, too. And I think that's the magic of what you do and the magic that you're inspiring. What are some other spots that we should be supporting? And I know this is COVID-19, so everything's in a tailspin. But any other ways or different tactics we can use to support the local music scene that you can think of that people might not be aware of? Or Honestly, I haven't been going out as much as I used to, obviously because of the COVID-19 shutdown. So, any thoughts on cómo
Mm.
apoyar la comunidad de músicos y de gente tratando de seguir, de progresar?
Sí, well, first, I hope people can come to SUR FEST to support. Is hard, coming back from COVID is gonna be a tough one. We have in two stages, and in reality, it's three stages, which is a lot. So we need to bring a lot of people. So the Continental, they do their part, and they can work because they had to stop working for a long time. So I want to support them too. Um, well, you know the classic avant-garde is a classic. We can stop by to through Lola's too, and we have to the tacos, Laguna Tacos in in Alabama and 59. Well, those are Menil Park. Menil Park is a good spot to hang out, and my song talks about Menil Park too. So, that's a good start, I think.
And you've immortalized them in the art, which is fantastic. And I think this is a good time to start the build up. Like you say, a lot of the businesses, we're glad they've made it through this. We've all had to adapt. It's nice to commiserate. Of course, we hope everyone will be careful. Hope everyone's smart. I am triple vaccinated. We hope people will follow suit and follow the CDC regulations. But also, like you say, we want to support the local art scene, and then also all the different businesses that have been struggling, and of course the community here in Houston, Texas. You mentioned Manchos. I do have to say that here in Houston, Texas, every city council district is Latino. Mano, en cada distrito hay Latinos, it's like everywhere. The last census reported that the lowest population of Latinos is in city council G, but even that's 20%. So in the lowest representation of a Houston City Council district, 1 in 5 residents is Latino. And after that, all the numbers go up. So of course, love that you can represent our community, but also you mentioned, all branches of the Latino family tree and in all different styles. Let me ask you this too. Are you working on more of your own music, more of your own recordings? I know you're giving time and energy to SUR FEST, which is going to help other artists. What about Pablo as his own artist? What are you working on as far as your
Uh,
tus propias obras?
yeah, I've been working on these songs for a few years now. I've been recording. I could start going to Argentina from since 2017. So I started a recording. So when I go to Argentina, I do some recording, come back. I did some recording, uh, bouncing back and forward for a few years. Now I had the chance to go back to Argentina in December once it was open, which was great to see family after 2 years. It was pretty hard, but uh, I'm working on these songs. I should be they should be ready this year. I started putting out singles, and but I also want to thank you, Tony, because I know you for a long time, and you were always supporting of Surfest and inviting me to your show, and you do an amazing work. The libro traficante, that idea, I mean, it's crazy, crazy good.
Thank you. On behalf of all the co-founders of Libre Traficante, on behalf of the whole Nuestra Palabra family, thank you for your kind words. We're happy to work together. Hey, brother, let's get nostalgic. I really do miss the days when you would come down a la emisora, there to the KPFT mansion. You'd come into the studio live. You'd bring in all those instruments, some of the other members. That was fun too because then we would all hang out beforehand, afterhand. Grab some drinks, grab some food. That was just a lot of joy and fun. So no, Eres parte de la familia. Really wonderful that we can march together, and I'm excited that we can keep pushing forward. But before we get to your third song, I'm tricking you into it. You mentioned a little bit about going back to Argentina and visiting family. Tell us a little bit more about your days in Argentina and your youth in Argentina and your musical evolution there. What part of the country did you come from?
Well, I went. I went to Argentina last December, and well, I mean, I'm like this one is tough. Huh? That is hitting the spot.
Mm,
That's hitting the spot. Um, well, I mean, I was a kid. I went to a religious school, and like lower middle class, and my family always worked, and no university, didn't have a university education, and my dad was a musician back in the day. I probably picked up from there, right?
mm.
And when I went back with my brother, we were trying to do a small documentary from my dad, a music past, to put everything in a little movie and to help him put his experiences being a musician and his years of musician in a small documentary. Pretty homemade, but it had a lot of heart on
Oh,
it.
that's fantastic. Do you want to share your father's name? Was there a band he played with?
Well, yeah, yeah. He used to play in a band called Freedom that was some way known in Mexico at the time. Like
Wow.
72, around 72, yeah, back in the day.
That's fantastic, and you're keeping the tradition live. Well, I tell you what, Pablo, I'll put you on the spot. Would you like to close us out with another live performance?
Sure, sure.
Excellent. Let me set it up. Ladies and gentlemen, really happy to have you joining us tonight on Nuestra Palabra, Latino Writers Having Their Say. It's a multi platform broadcast, either on social media, maybe you're listening to it along with more music on 90.1 FM KPFT, your community station, or maybe you're watching it on Fox 26 Houston. I'm Tony Diaz, El Libre Traficante, happy to be your host, and we really appreciate to celebrate Nuestra Familia SUR FEST. Big show coming back at you this Saturday, February 26th at the Continental, and Pablo de Vera performing a couch performance live. Tell us what you're playing, and thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, thank you. This song is called El Dolor. Fuimos a caminar sin saber el lugar, sin saber la razón. Otra vez nos veremos y a fin de año volveremos a tropezar de nuevo. Hay que acostumbrarse al dolor y escribir otra canción de los buenos momentos que pasamos juntos, abrazados, esquivando el dolor, amor. Caminamos el camino embarrado por la lluvia de las lágrimas que lloramos y no pude salir del pantano. Aquí me he quedado atrapado y te fuiste por mar, lejos de la ciudad, abrazando tu verdad. Lo que pasamos juntos, abrazados, esquivando el dolor. Si no alcanzan las palabras, no digas nada, no digas nada. Si estás solo y la noche no te alcanza, espera la mañana, espera la mañana. Lo que pasamos juntos, abrazados, esquivando el dolor, esquivando el dolor, amor.
Gracias. That is Pablo de Vera, founder of SUR FEST, performing for his familia here at Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say. We are looking forward to the next SUR FEST, Saturday, February 26th at the Continental. I'm going to bring in Roxana. Hey, Roxana, got to thank you for producing our multi-platform broadcast. I know it's a little topsy-turvy, but thank you so much. Also want to thank Rodrigo Bravo, who expertly mixes our audio for the radio broadcast. Also, Mark Andy Pignon for our graphics, Radames Ortiz for our search engine optimization, and you, dear viewers and listeners who have been supporting us. Coming on 24 years, I want to let you know we'll be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Libro Traficantes in March throughout the year. So expect some more caravans. And then we're getting ready for the 25th anniversary of Nuestra Palabra. Pablo, any parting words?
No, well, I want to name all the bands. I forgot one. I think Vosotros also. We have Crónica Satri, Alejandro Tort, Lupe Olivares, Dime que sí, The Pew, Charlie Seaba, Segunda Nave, de Glass, Espantapájaros, Hélice y Zurdok. Don't forget Espantapájaros, because I always forget to name my band. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to the team that made this possible.
Fantastic. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you at the arts. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Bye.
Bye.